Hi everyone, welcome to week 7 of our Huddles launch. Now, I hope that you have been able to take these last 6 weeks up until now to really develop a rhythm of gathering for you in your huddle. I hope that you're meeting, either it's bi-weekly or even weekly if you can imagine. And I hope that you continue to meet even after this huddle launch. Remember, this is all about equipping you to be able to hear what God is doing in each other's lives and point each other back to how we can live in light of all of these things that he's saying to us. And so we are just giving you these lenses to think through, or we call them gospel paradigms to think through as we're continuing on, and you can go at your own pace. But our hope is that out of this, you'll continue to gather and begin this rhythm of meeting up to really just share this intentional life of discipleship and following after Christ together. Today, I want to talk to you about relationships. And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm really talking about what are the relationships that we hold in our life and what can we learn about how to navigate those relationships based off of the life of Jesus. Now, when we think of Jesus and his relationships, we see a variety of them, but the people that he spent the most time with were his disciples. Imagine this. He spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with them for 3 years. And at the end of that, some of them, they still didn't get it. And I think about our life, what it means to follow Christ, and how we can do that together. How can we then model that in our relationships? Really high invitation and also really high challenge in the hopes that we can follow after Jesus together. So, invitation and challenge. Another way to put it is relationship and responsibility. Relationship and responsibility. Now, I'm going to spend some time just describing each category for you, invitation and challenge, okay? And so with invitation, we're really talking about this statement, which is, I really care about you. I really care about you and I want to do life with you. We see that modeled in Jesus' life, where he invites his disciples to eat with him. He invites them to travel with him, to do ministry with him, to go from place to place with him, and to pray with him. And we see him just inviting his disciples into every part of his life, every sphere of his life, from that, even his prayer life, his inner life, to his personal life, his social life with the people around him, and his communal life, how he interacts with the community around him. We see Jesus inviting his disciples, a high invitation to his disciples to be a part of that. And so if invitation is really this thing where we're talking about relationships and we're saying, hey, I love you and I care about you, then challenge is really this statement of, I want to see you grow. I want to see you develop. I want to see you flourish. And challenge, we see that modeled in Jesus' life in the way that he sends out his disciples. He challenges them. He questions their way of thinking. He even sends them out to do ministry, to cast out demons, to do miracles of healing. And then he calls them back, keep in mind, these are some of the disciples that even turn away from him, right? But he challenges them. And so challenge is really giving responsibility or growing in responsibility. It's when we say, I want to see you develop, I want to see you grow. So invitation and challenge. If I could plot them out for you, we've got invitation on this graph here, invitation and challenge, right? And when we're talking about invitation and challenge, something that's high invitation and high challenge is known as an empowered culture. It's an empowered culture where we are actually making disciples because we're saying, hey, I love you, I care about you, and I want you to be a part of my life. But we're also saying, I want to see you grow. I want to see you develop in your character, your capabilities. What happens, though, when we have a culture that is high invitation but low challenge? When we have a culture that's high invitation and low challenge, what we have is a cozy culture. It's something that's comfortable, and it almost creates consumers. So we're saying, I love you and care about you, but I don't really know if I want to see you grow. I don't know if I can be the one to challenge you in that way. I don't know if I want to see you develop, but I want you to feel accepted. What happens when we have a culture that is low invitation and yet high challenge? Well, when we have that, we have a stressed culture. A stressed culture where burnout is ultimately the final destination of that. And oftentimes we see that happening in leadership, where the leaders are doing the bulk of the work. They are so stressed out, and eventually they burn out because they don't know how to invite people into that, create relationship, which opens the door for us to give responsibility away. And if leaders don't do that, then they end up in this stressed, almost burnout culture. Well, what is it like when we have a low invitation and low challenge culture? Well, we have something that's ultimately apathetic. People don't care about each other, and people don't care about growth together. And when we have that, ultimately we have people who are disengaged, and eventually they end up leaving the community or the friendships and relationships that are there. And so my question for you today is this. What are areas of your life where you have seen each of these different quadrants or these cultures happen? High invitation, high challenge, high invitation, low challenge, low invitation, high challenge, and low invitation and low challenge. Do you have examples from your life that you can go back on and share with your group about? Or do you have an example now of one of those things happening? What does it look like in your relationships with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers, with your neighbors, even your church community here or your life group? What do you think is the culture of those different things that's happening right now? And also, out of this, what might God be saying to you? Is there a relationship that maybe God is leading you to deepen? Or maybe even in your life group, is there a way for you to even increase your challenge or increase your invitation, a way to invite people into your life more? Is there something that God is leading you to? And out of that, what are you going to do about it? So we're going to go back into our huddles and we're going to discuss that for the rest of the time. And we'll see you next week. Bye.